What is happening, guys? UFC 302 this weekend. I'm here in the beautiful place of Thailand. I'm actually at Bang Tao Muay Thai MMA gym just around the corner. So doing a bit of training. It's been good. So I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. Got training to do. So I won't go through the whole card. I'm going to go through the top three fights. So Kevin Holland, Michal, or is that how you'll say it? Michal, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And you've got Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa, Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier. Michal can definitely throw hands. I've watched him. He's actually pretty tidy on the feet. He has been submitted. Most of his losses are submissions. And we know Kevin Holland can wrap you up as well. If he hurts you, he can definitely wrap you up. So that could be where this fight goes if he does get hurt and then gets wrapped up. But I definitely feel that Kevin can get caught with punches. I know Kevin's got very unorthodox style. He likes to sort of fight. He's that unorthodox style. He's still hard to hit, but can get hit. So, it can be capitalized on there just because, as I said, Michal can definitely throw some hands. He's got some tidy boxing, good movement. I just don't know if that's going to be enough. Kevin Holland's very tough. Nothing phases Kevin Holland. Even if you are getting good angles and all that, you're not going to get Kevin Holland flustered. Even Chimaev, his style, when he just grabbed the hold of him and was just sort of throwing him around, I didn't feel that was that absolutely rattled Kevin Holland, which it should have. Especially when you got someone like Chimaev coming at you that aggressively. I think he still did okay considering. He got submitted quickly. It was in the first round. I'm pretty sure that was. Anyway, so a lot of people are going to be like, what am I talking about? But, him moving up, everything that happened that week, if you remember, that was a late notice sort of switch. Completely different opponent. And, Chimaev is no joke, especially when he comes that aggressively. And that grappling style is very, very strong and powerful, especially grappling. So that was something that should have phased Kevin. I didn't feel like it did. So it's hard for me to see someone like Kevin Holland be flustered, especially with someone's boxing style. So I'm going to have to go with the favourite on this one. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. Can he get the finish? I think he can. It's 3 rounds. It could definitely go a decision. But I feel like he might be able to maybe hurt him. We've seen Michal Pereira catch him with some body shots, hurt him and get there. Again, Kevin Holland's got some crazy style with his knees, and he'll he a very good variety of striking. So he could go high, low, and mix it up, throw knees, teeps to the body, hurt him while he's cowering, grab the clinch knees, throw him to the ground, maybe get a submission. So I think it can definitely be a submission. I know Kevin Holland's a favourite. So a submission could be one we go with. I don't know what that's paying because obviously Michal has been submitted a few times, so I don't know if that's paying very well. But let's just go with Kevin Holland for the win on this one. I think that is more of a safer bet. So that is what I'm going to go with. Now, co-main event, we're going to go Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. Strickland is favourite, and we understand why. He obviously has fought a couple of great fights. Obviously he lost the last one, but still fought a great fight. Obviously with the Izzy fight, that's definitely something that people are going to remember. And that's where I think the odds are going to be going. But I want everyone to remember Paulo Costa's last fight against Rob Whittaker. I thought that's probably the best I've ever seen Paulo Costa. I know he lost. It's just Rob Whittaker's that good that you could fight your best fight and it still wasn't enough. If that Paulo Costa turns up, that's a hard fight for anybody, especially Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's so good with this sort of style as well. Someone that's going to be very aggressive, who will fight very fundamentally correct sort of, he's very powerful, Paulo Costa. Everything comes, from where it's meant to be, how we are trained, well trained. But this is something that Sean Strickland's very good at. You throw very good fundamentally power shots. This is stuff that, Sean Strickland does so many rounds. He loves doing live rounds. So people that are going to swing heavy at him and very tidy sort of boxing techniques, kickboxing techniques, he's sort of ready for him. He spars more than he trains almost, it feels. So he knows little sort of things that he can do in real life situations, right? You throw some, he knows where to put himself to be in the safest position possible and still land. He knows how to go with the punches. He knows how to be in your face, still go with the punches and land some nice sneaky shots. This is something that I think Sean Strickland's going to do well with. I think he will land some shots, but Paulo Costa is very powerful. I feel like Sean Strickland will be able to stop some of these shots. I don't think he's going to be fazed by these big, powerful shots, but it is a style that you still got to be very careful. Obviously, we've seen with Pereira, him catching Sean Strickland with the hook, right? But Pereira's still pretty unpredictable as well. He will make things look like he's doing something, and he will change a shot sort of halfway through while he's throwing it. So it will look like it's coming through and just bring it around, or, you think it's coming a short hook. You think you're out of way, he'll go longer with it. He's very good at breaking that sort of rhythm. Paulo Costa, I don't think as much. I think he will come forward and do some long attacks, but I feel it will be more 2-3 step kicks. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little more obvious where I feel Sean Strickland's going to get a better read on. So I'm trying to get, I'm getting a bit technical here. I'm sure you guys, you are here looking at breakdowns because you understand the game. So I'm sure you get it. It's just more to just your basic techniques, especially in this one. Sean Strickland's used to the basic techniques. I don't care how powerful you are. You need to be able to change that. Can Paulo Costa do that? Yes, he can. So it's an interesting one because, I want to go, I love an underdog. I like both guys, like Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa, obviously both past opponents of Israel Adesanya, and Israel's my guy, but it doesn't mean I have to hate these people, right? I don't mind them, they like, I sort of get along with them all. So it's a tricky one. You never, I'm friendly with everyone, so I never want to upset anyone. But you guys want to know my picks, right? Who am I leaning towards? I might have to lean with the favorite here. Sean Strickland. I think he does enough to protect himself, not get caught as much. Actually, one thing that just come to me with Sean Strickland, is he going to be more aggressive? He likes to be in the fire. So you fire shots, he's always sort of safe. He's always going with them and making the right sort of adjustments to make sure he's not getting hit. And he will flick some shots. So he can sometimes be a little more defensive. He's a pressure fighter, but very defensive pressure fighter. He's in your face, but he makes sure he is protecting himself while you're throwing things. So I have seen with fighters like Paulo Costa, who's one that comes to mind. Cannonier. Jared Cannonier. Okay, here we go. All right, Jared Cannonier. Sorry, had a brain fart there. Jared Cannonier is a good example. I've seen this in a couple of Sean Strickland's fights where he's okay. He's not taking much damage, but letting the rounds get away from him, where he's sort of going with the punches, blocking them. He's aware of what's coming, but they're still sort of scoring. And he wasn't landing enough shots himself, and he let the rounds get... obviously, he was upset with that fight. I did give it to Jared Cannonier just purely, even though I know what Sean Strickland's saying, he wasn't... The damage wasn't there because he was going with the shots. He was sort of trying to block them, but he just didn't do enough offense. Is that going to be the same with Paulo Costa? Because again, Paulo Costa's going to swing hard. Sean Strickland's going to make sure he's blocking. He's going to see them coming. He's going to defend and try and land some shots here and there. But is he going to let the rounds get away from him? That is something that you guys, if you remember, gamble responsibly. I'm going to say that every time we do this. Remember that when you are betting here. It's a 3-round fight. Will Sean Strickland block the shots but maybe lose the rounds? Or is he going to be more aggressive? I've seen him train and I actually watched him I've seen a bit of footage training, and it looked like Sean Strickland was going very aggressive. Even with someone who looked like had a very tidy kickboxing style, who was very, very crafty on the feet. And doing really well. So very dangerous sort of striker. I seen some sparring rounds, and I still thought that Sean Strickland was being very aggressive, which sort of surprised me. Again, a lot of times he won't be too aggressive because he's going to protect himself while he's doing that. Even though he's in the firefight, even though he's in the range where he can get hit, he's still very defensive and maybe flick some shots. He might block and just throw a nice little straight jab, just to touch you and get you tired and get you on the back foot and things like that. And I felt he was more aggressive from the rounds I've seen. I know this is only sparring rounds, but he usually spars like how he sort of fights, as what I'm saying he usually does, like when I seen him with Jared Kennedy. I'm going to leave it with you guys to sort of weigh them options and odds and see what you think is the best option for you. Because, the underdog, obviously, people, I like to sometimes go on the underdogs here. I think the underdog in this fight isn't too bad of a pick, but I am going to ultimately pick Sean Strickland. Okay? So, again, take what you can out of that and maybe make your pick. Or maybe I confused you because I went too much into it, but, that's just how I work, that's how my brain works. So, there's a couple of, obviously there's ways that it can go, it can go, veer in so many different directions. And while I'm explaining it to you, I'm sort of, that process is happening in my head and I'm regurgitating whatever I can. So hopefully you've got what you needed out of that. So anyway, that is that fight. To wrap that up, I think Sean Strickland decision. If you're going to pick Sean Strickland, make sure it's decision. I don't think a finish is a safe bet at all with that one. I think the decision's going to be your best odds. There you go. That's that. Now, main event. I'm going to have to get into a little bit of details with this one. I think this is still a great fight. Obviously, Islam's a massive favourite. And he should be because he's that good of a fighter. So, you know who I'm going to pick on this one. I'm going to give you the pick straight away, but we'll break it down anyway, just to break down the fight. I think it's just Islam's going to be too good. I think he's too safe of a fighter to make mistakes where he's going to get caught against someone like Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is a great fighter. I just think, it's just a hard fight for anybody. So, and I don't see anyone beating Islam for a while. Unless they catch him, right? The only way I see, this is how I have always been in my division. I've always said, anyone has a puncher's chance, right? Anyone can catch you. But that was the only way I ever saw myself losing in my division was, someone catching me, because that can happen. That's just a fight game. Let's get into this. Southpaw versus Southpaw. Here are some little problems for Islam then maybe. Southpaw versus Southpaw. We know Southpaw in training, in fighting, majority of the time you are fighting orthodox fighters. You are going to be a lot more comfortable fighting orthodox fighters. Because that's just the rounds you're doing, the time on the mat spent is usually going to be with orthodox fighters. There's just more of them. I know there's a lot of Southpaws, but not as many of them. Obviously, this camp, he's done more with Southpaw, but to get a real feel, it's going to be that little bit harder. Again, Islam's a very calculated fighter. I'm sure he's doing the preparations right. But say with my fight with Islam, there was times where I would come in aggressively, so I would try and stay out of range, and when I would try and blitz in, come in, his timing for the takedown was very, very good. So he would always, as I would come forward, he would always dip his head to the side, safe, away from my power side, and shoot in, even if it looked like he was off balance. He doesn't like to come in straight where he feels in danger. He'll make sure he's off center, his head is offline, boom, and then get himself back into a better posture as he's taking you down. So Khabib was like this as well. So very, it's sort of, most people are, going to think he's, he's off, the posture's not right, but he's doing this to keep his head off center and not in firing line, and he still does a great takedown from there. But now he's going to be doing that with a southpaw fighter. So you dip, as I said, you're going to be a lot more comfortable shooting. So if you choose, if someone, just pressures you and gets you sort of off guard, or your instinct reaction is to shoot, most of the time you're shooting against orthodox fighters, your head's going to dip to this side. Now you're dipping to the power side of Poirier because he's southpaw. Power side uppercuts, power side kicks, power side knees. So now you're dipping your head to that power line. So I want you to remember that these are going to be little problems. Again, Islam is a very calculated fighter. I'm just trying to give you some pros and cons with this fight. Another thing with Poirier, he can fight long as well. So there's guys that see Max Holloway, the second fight. Max Holloway will be in your face, but when you attack on Holloway, especially back then, he's very good at shuffling back, very good at getting himself back out of range. So even though he's in your face, when he chooses to go back, he knows how to shuffle out. And Poirier, so obviously I watched this fight on tape, did a great job of shuffling with him, stepping over and cutting that distance. Obviously, if he did his normal attacks, he would have pulled up short. But he knew that Max Holloway was drifting and shuffling really deep back. He knew that he had to go long, which is going to be very important for someone like Islam. Islam is a fighter that likes to stay back and force you to overcommit and then either run you into punches or run you into a takedown. So this is going to be something that he's going to probably have to use because, Islam's not going to be standing in punching range with him. He's going to make you try and find that range. He's going to make you try and blitz in, shuffle in, and cut that distance. And when you do so, he's going to see what options are there. So now, again, comes in, cuts the distance really well, steps over, whatever it is he going to be in a position for where Islam is going to, sort of, I wouldn't say panic shoot, but instinct reaction shoot? Is he still in a southpaw stance where he's going to fire a knee or a kick? Is he following up with a kick? So if he chooses to take down, is he running into something in that power side now that he's southpaw? Do you get what I'm saying? Again, I'm getting a bit technical here where orthodox, my power side's over here. Dips his head over here. He doesn't have as much to worry about. Very safe. Like I said, Islam's a very calculated fight. Same as Khabib. They don't put themselves in a dangerous position. But now that he's southpaw, where that head is dangerous. He'd probably rather have his head on this side, if that makes sense. So, when he's shuffling in, when his instant reaction is going to be to shoot, is he going in firing line? These are little problems that could happen because, like I said, Dustin Poirier is really good at long-distance attacks. He's southpaw. I know he likes to step over. I know we were stepping over with Max Holloway. Stepping over into southpaw, into orthodox, which might not be a good idea with Islam, right? Because now you've taken away that power side I'm talking about, and his normal takedown is there. So I don't know. Is he going to shuffle, do nice long shuffles, or I'm getting very technical. I'm breaking down, very sort of detailed sort of things here, but. Now I'm going to talk about Islam. All that being said, Islam's team and Islam is a very calculated fighter. He's going to know that on a southpaw, he's not going to shoot to that side. He's going to have different options. Obviously, the attacks are going to be a little more harder, to counter punches. I think it's going to be a lot harder for Islam with a southpaw. But the wrestling, I guarantee you, he's got a lot more comfortable takedowns on southpaws that he knows his go-tos on a southpaw with takedowns. I think it's more of a threat though when it comes to the feet with the boxing, with the kickboxing. I think he's not going to be as comfortable with a southpaw standing up. The takedowns, I think he will be. I think he's got a lot of go-tos. I think he's going to have his own attacks where he feels safe for shooting. So we are going to see those. I think once he grabs a hold of Dustin's going to be having a bit of trouble. Is he going to go the guillotine? Do I think the guillotine's going to be there for Dustin? Yeah, it might be there, but think of the amount of times people have tried to put Islam in a guillotine. I guarantee you, he's been there in this camp. He would have done hours and hours of defense there. So I just don't see that pulling off. Again, I think he's too calculated. I don't see that happening. So I think he's just going to wear on Dustin there. Again, Dustin's a great fighter. I've got a good relationship with him. But I'm just trying to be real here. I just think Islam, I've got a good relationship with both fighters. I just think Islam really is. He's pound for pound number one. And, I totally understand. I understand that. I get it. He is that good. Very well-rounded, very calculated. Great team behind him. So I just can't see that. I think he plays it safe on the feet. He is going to look for the grappling. Again, southpaw is going to be more of a threat for him. I think the only time he ever got knocked out was against a southpaw on southpaw. Again, you're usually used to going outside the jab hand. Now it's your power side. So it's a little bit awkward. You choose to attack. These threats are coming from a total different side that you haven't dealt with as much as an orthodox fighter. So I think he's going to be aware of that. That's why, myself, I like to change stances because I can give him different threats both ways. I let them think they're comfortable with the power side being here. All of a sudden, I switched up. Now the power side's completely opposite. The threats are a total different sort of side now. So your footwork has to completely change like that. So these are things that that's why I like to do them, right? So, but I do know Islam will be prepared for this, ready for this. I don't think he's going to take too much risk on the feet because Dustin Poirier's got great hands, got great striking. I don't think he's going to play that. Can he get the finish, Islam? Yes, I think your best option here. And again, this is no disrespect to Dustin. I think he's a great fighter. Again, this is always hard because I like all the fighters. I've got to pick a winner. But I think Islam is that good where it's going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a submission finish. Is it in the later rounds or can he get it done straight away? Can he get on top, work him, Poirier on his way to getting up, getting wrapped up, rear naked choke? We have seen that. Is that what happens? Maybe. Again, gamble responsibly. If you are going to pick Islam, I think you have to go with finish. I think you would definitely go with Dustin's tough. You ain't going to TKO him there. I don't think. I think it's going to be a submission. So there you go. That's a detailed enough sort of breakdown for you. Hopefully he's got a bit out of there. Hopefully it made sense. I know I like to ramble. Every time I do chat to you, like I literally, I don't write things down or anything like that. I literally, it's like I'm chatting to you and, and I just ramble. You know what I mean? Off the cuff. And that's just how I am. That's how I like to do it. So let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, if I was just rambling and none of it made sense. That's on you. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. Get a better understanding. How about that? What else? That's it. Enjoy the fights. Appreciate yous. Till next time, I'm off the training. See yous later. Sawadee Carp.